Was good. This is all call outs mandatory, and we was just wrapping up our conversation about Javante Davis. A lot of shit's going on with boxing. Boxing is finally back. Tuesdays and Thursdays on ESPN. You can catch a bunch of different fights. I caught this recently. I caught the Shakur Stephenson was the first, I guess, main event fight of one of the top prospects coming up right now. Do you watch the fight? How'd you feel about Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah, I watched the fight. He did what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? He fought at 130, but I don't think that's his natural weight right now. But in his defense, now I'm saying he's still a kid, bro. Just like I say about all these young cats, man. They still kids. They haven't grown into their adult strength. Now I'm saying, so a lot of people were saying, yo, after the second round, his power deflated, which I agree with, but he's still a kid. Once he develop more as a man, his grown man strength to come in, then he'll be ready for that next level.
You know, it's weird. I don't think he's ever going to be a big puncher. I feel as if because a lot of people, there was a lot of comparisons on that fight where people were like, oh, at this point in time with him and Floyd, um, Floyd got hit more than him, and I was like, it's a big difference of where Floyd was and where Shakur Stevenson was. And I'm gonna say, I don't know if you agree with me, but just hear me out. So Shakur Stevenson comes off probably one of the most notable Olympians who lost he ended up getting a silver medal. He was one of the biggest athletes at the Olympics, all that. When Floyd came in, Floyd was still kind of trying to make his name. Like he was still trying to be a star. Shakur Stevens is kind of coming in as a star. So what I'm saying with that is Floyd had to take more risks, and Floyd at that time was a more aggressive fighter. I feel like Floyd was trying to make points and actually going out there to try to knock people out. I feel like Floyd was a lot stronger and things of that nature. And Floyd had to make a name of himself because people didn't necessarily believe in Floyd like that. Shakur Stevenson's celebrate. He is what Oscar was when Oscar De La Hoya came out. You know what I mean? Olympic gold medalist, or he wasn't a gold medalist, but he's supposed to be that guy. So I feel like he can be more lax. I think Floyd had to be more aggressive in order to make his name at those weights. I mean, how do you feel about
I mean, I believe Floyd was like either a bronze or silver medalist himself. You know what I'm saying? Floyd was a star coming out of the Olympics to the people that was in tune with boxing. But you got to think in that era, at that time, it was so many big name boxers that it was tougher to be called a star or considered a star. Right now, it's easier to be considered a star, which I feel like even Shakur Stevenson is not. Like the way you was saying it made it sound like you was kind of boosting his stats a little bit. You know what I'm
that?
saying? Because he another kid that I remember in a certain tournament, because in the amateurs it's like this. You got you'll go to a tournament and it'll be a national tournament, it'll be 8-year-olds all the way up to 35-year-olds. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So you'll be in the same tournament as the young guys. So I used to see a lot of these young guys. Saying, but to see him turn into what he turned to was dope. But he was like a De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? Like that much of a star. It helps too with social media. You know what I'm saying? That's something when I was in the amateurs coming to the pros, we didn't have social media. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's something that helps these guys get their name out there more. But I wouldn't compare his celebrity to a guy like Oscar De La Hoya at that time. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But
you gotta look at it. He
me,
was he was a big prospect going into the Olympics. People were talking about him like crazy. Well, the reason I say that is because too, like, he was supposed to win the gold medal. People felt like he was going to win. It was kind of an upset, and it was a big thing that he didn't win. Also, like, I feel like Floyd became, even though Floyd was always a good defensive fighter, I feel like Floyd became more defensive when he got older. He didn't want to get hit as much. And I feel like Shakur is completely opposite of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like, I don't know, I don't like the comparison. I think Shakur's more, I don't. Maybe more Pernell Whitaker in a sense. That's what I would say. In a sense, I wouldn't. I don't think he's that defensively. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think. I think he's talented though. I don't think he's ever going to have that power. Though. I just think he's a very talented boxer. But
he's very talented, but we get caught up in these comparisons, bro. These comparisons. He's not a Floyd. He's not a Pernell Whitaker, bro. But I could see the comparison, but he's not dumb. Know what I'm saying? Because one thing I noticed from watching him as a boxer,
yeah,
that I've been doing this my entire life, I noticed he's not as comfortable on the inside. So you
no,
said Floyd,
mm-hmm.
you said Floyd wasn't a great defensive fighter in the beginning, but he really
I didn't
was
say he was great. I say he was a more offensive fighter. I think he got more defensive later on. In other words, he wasn't throwing as many frequent punches when he got heavier in weight. That's what I said. When he got to 147, he wasn't throwing.
I mean, all right, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it like this, right? Coming out of the amateurs, see, a lot of people don't understand what amateur boxing is. Amateur boxing is points. So as amateurs, we are taught to throw more punches than professionals. You know what I'm saying? So in that stage in Floyd's career, he was still developing from an amateur to a professional. So he was throwing way more punches. He was more, trying to get you out of there fast versus when he got older, he became more patient because being patient in the pros is a big thing. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at Floyd's amateur fights, which they have I'm sure they have some of them on YouTube. If you look at them, you'll see he was still doing a shoulder roll and everything back then. Know what I'm saying? He was still slick, but he definitely was throwing more punches. Then you gotta remember too, when Floyd got older, he started having hand problems. His hands started breaking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the fight with him and was it Shambe Mitchell? Was it Shambe Mitchell?
Yeah, for sure.
They were going toe to toe. Like Floyd in his elder career never did that. Floyd was not doing that.
He kind of did.
That's who?
Cotto.
He was not. He was out boxing. He was not going toe to toe with Cotto.
Yo, no, he wasn't running. No, he was on the road. He was in a phone booth with Cotto too, bro.
Compared to when he fought Chop Coley and stuff, no way. Floyd has never been that offensive since 130, 135, or wherever he was.
He got smarter, but he was in a phone booth with those guys. He just made it. He always made it look easy, bro.
He's a great fighter, but he also had wheels. But let's get back to Shakur Stephenson. He's at 130 pounds. He's clearly the most talked about prospect. I don't think he's the best prospect at 130 pounds.
Whoa. Talked about prospect? No.
He
can't
right
say
now,
that.
Our prospect. I don't think he's the best prospect. You know what I'm saying? But he is the top.
No, I'm saying you said most talked about. Prospect. I can't agree with that.
Who's more talked about at 130 than
I believe Ryan Garcia is more talked about than him and Devin Haney.
More talked about because of him and Javante going back. The whole he's a viral on Instagram. He's a fucking model. Bro, he has like 3 million followers. I don't even know if any boxer in his division has that many followers. Not even close.
That's what they judge by now. As far as talked about, when we talk about media, I believe him and Devin Haney get the most attention.
No.
They get more attention than Shakur Stephenson.
I'll say this. No, Shakur Stephenson is more celebrated by the public. Devin Haney is very active on social media. I love watching his blogs. He talks a lot. He's very intelligent. I think Devin Haney is definitely, if I had to pick my top 3 prospects at 126 to 135, my 3 prospects would be, my favorite is Chris, Lopez, and Devin Haney. Those would be my 3 right there.
Teofimo Lopez?
Yes, I love Teofimo Lopez.
He's not a prospect though, no.
Lomachenko's going to be his biggest fight. I'm talking about newest guys. Lomachenko's been established. Like Lopez, fighting him is going to establish him. You know what I'm saying? But those are my 3 favorite newer or younger fighters. I think Lopez is like 21. So is Devin Haney.
They all young. I don't know, 21, 22, 20. They all around the same age though, but I just feel some like Lopez, he more developed than No. Lopez might be a little older. He might be like 24. He might be a little older. Him and Javante might be the same age. So I say him and Javante is the most developed out of those. But then you also got my man David Benavidez.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of my boys brought that to my attention. He's in that same class too.
It's a lot of good fighters, and between those three weight classes, a lot of great fighters. That's why I said I think Shakur is good. I don't. Do you think that Shakur is going to fight the best fighters at 130? I mean, do
Of
you feel like
course.
he's going to fight a Chris Colbert? Do you feel like he's going to go and fight a Lopez, a Lomachenko, a Devin Haney? Do you feel like those fights are going to happen, or are we going to have what happened with Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather, where they should have fought at the lighter weights and ended up fighting years later at 147?
See, you got to think about it, bro. At that time, when Shane and Floyd was at the around the same weight, well, lighter weights, Floyd wasn't a big name, bro. He wasn't. His name wasn't. His name wasn't on the top of the list, bro. You had Della Hoya. You had Trinidad. You had those type of guys. So Mosley was looking at more so fighting those guys. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
mean, listen,
Mosley wasn't really thinking about fighting Floyd, bro.
I remember when I was watching them both at 140. That was the fight I wanted to see. I was like, Shane Mosley versus Floyd Mayweather. That's the fight I wanted to see. I was like, listen, these are my two favorite fighters at 140. I want to see it happen. I mean, I also want
What
to
year
see
was that?
this was bro, he had to be like it was before the Gotti fight. Remember, I think Gotti was it at 140 Gotti?
After that 140.
140. It was he was 135, but they were both at 135, matter of fact. They were there for a while. Shane Mosley had fought I forgot who he fought. But they came off of Diego Corrales. He was doing his thing. I thought that was the best fight. I felt like it happened way too later in their career. And I just don't want to see that happen with Chris Colbert and Shakur Stephenson. I want to see them fight. That's actually to me the best fight in terms of the most.
I mean, I get it. No, know what I mean, as a conventional boxing fan, somebody that been around boxing as long as you have and watched it as long as you have, I get what you're saying. But as a boxer myself, I understand the position of these guys when they say it got to be worth the money. Know what I'm saying? Like, look at Floyd and Pacquiao. To this day, people debate that Pacquiao would have won if they fought when they was younger at a different time. All right, all that is cool, but would they have made the money they made? Because you got to think, we don't have what NBA players, NFL players have. We have to get those big fights, bro. We have to juice up the big fights and get paid off.
And we also have the promoters cock blocking. There's a reason Errol Spence and Bud hasn't fought. I think Chris is with Al Heyman, and he's with Top Rank, which is what I mean, which kind of sucks. Like people said before, it's hard to get those Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard classics. I think Sugar Ray fought Duran when he was like 21. You know what I'm saying? I think it was 21.
But Duran wasn't a big star like that. Like, he wasn't
the biggest stars. What are you talking about?
No. I'm talking about money wise. He wasn't a attraction.
Competitiveness. How do you become legendary? You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, I don't want to see what happened with Floyd and Pacquiao. They fought 5 years too late. I want to see
That's a whole nother debate, because look, what's more important to a man? His legacy or being able to feed his family?
That's a good point. But at the same time, in the spirit of boxing and why people feel like boxing is dying, are we going to continue to allow these fighters to not fight each other and keep beating up on tomato cans? Like, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of. I think maybe a year or so. I know he wants to fight. Colbert came out. He wanted to fight Santa Cruz. I think he's going to beat life out of Santa Cruz. I think he's going to beat him clearly. I feel like there's so many talented fighters in this division. That's why I'm so hype about Lopez fighting Lomachenko, because I feel like they're both super dope. Lopez could go and fight somebody else, get a bag, but he wants to be the best. I want to see these guys be the best and fight each other. And I want to see Shakur Stevenson fight one of those guys coming up with him. I want to see a part 2 to that if it's a great fight, a part 3 to that. I don't want to see.
That's not That's not gonna happen, bro. I can tell you that right now. That's not gonna happen no time soon. Now you got different classes like maybe a Shakur Stephenson and Gary Russell.
Okay.
Something like that can happen.
How about
Even though
Benavidez?
one is with Al Heyman and one is with Top Rank, but I'm just saying in a comparison of names, that's more liable to happen than Chris Colbert because they're not. Listen, if you're being built up to be a star,
Yeah.
in your first maybe 20 fights, you got two guys being built up to be stars. They're not fighting within their first 20, 25, maybe even 30 fights. It's not going to happen. So the goal is to become pay-per-view stars. So if you can see them, both of those fighters being pay-per-view stars, that's like a Teofimo Lopez and Javante Davis, right? Them two will never fight no time soon, unless
Okay.
when Teofimo fight Lomachenko, he loses. Because once he loses, the way boxing is set up, his stock will go down. And then once his stock goes down, now he's not at that same level as Javante. Why you think
What do
Floyd
you think?
why you think Floyd didn't let Javante fight Lomachenko? I think Javante will fight him. I don't think he's scared at all. But Floyd knows if the possibility of him losing happens, his stock drops, bro.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? He's the biggest fighter under Floyd right now. So I get
Absolutely.
what you're saying as a fan of it, but I also understand both sides of the spectrum. Being a fan and a fighter, I understand because look, say say Colbert fight Stevenson, right? Right now, how much you think they will make?
I would say for that. I mean, I think Chris needs a little more publicity. I think Shakur's higher than him, but I say in a year or two, I would say they get $1 million each. I would say that.
Right.
I would
Okay.
pay for that fight.
Okay. 1 million. Now, what's 1 million when you can make 15, 20 million if it's done right? Know what I'm saying? Because nobody can, yo, bro.
You know,
I've,
you
I've
know.
been, let me say this, no, right? I've been talking to this guy. He started a boxing union. Supposed to be official. Boxing has no union, bro. We don't have no society or one umbrella that we all under that make sure that we good in case we get injured, pay our medical bills. We don't have none of that, bro. So say one of them lose and they stock drop and they made $1 million. Once they stock drop, now they gotta fight undefeated fighter after undefeated fighter. Now say they keep taking those losses, bro. It's gonna come down to they're not gonna be making no more money. On top of that, they might get hurt. They taking punches to the head, they might get hurt. Now that's a whole career thrown away. And then guess what? Where the money coming from? Now that's how it is, bro. It's crazy.
To touch on your point, it's crazy. I feel like, and I don't want to put this on Floyd because I'm going to have to put this on Floyd. I think the emphasis on being undefeated has become a little overrated, and I think Floyd is the main reason. Because if you look at your greats, Duran, Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Tyson, Lewis, Holyfield, they all had losses, and their stock didn't drop. They just kept fighting great fights, and that's kind of where I think we have to get back to with boxing. We gotta have great fights. All this shit about having no zeros or no losses and stuff like that, it's kind of making the fights shitty. And like we're not having those classic fights. What was the last classic fight that you would say that were marquee names? I'm talking about Hagler Hearns type shit. I'm talking marquee, Duran Leonard, uh, Tyson Lewis. Like
Action pack,
huh? Yeah,
action pack fact.
really
I would say I would say I would say Wilder and Fury.
I mean,
That was it. That was one. That was one. No, I know you might
that's the
not want to
first
admit it,
heavyweight
but
in
that
a
was
long time. I hate to say this, but I'm not the biggest Wilder fan. But I get what you're saying. That's probably it. It's not. Let's say this, it's not as frequent. You would have Chavez fight Camacho back then. Chavez
right,
fought Rosario. He fought Whitaker. Like they fought these guys in their prime, not in their late
right,
30s. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like they fought them in their prime. It seemed as if boxing was more about putting together classics.
Right.
And now it's about staying undefeated as long as you can so your value goes up. And I feel like that's actually hurting the sport. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is.
and that's why I love Devin Haney's attitude. He's like, I want it now. I want to fight now. I want to fight anybody at 135. I love Devin Haney. I love what Haney's doing. And I think boxing I think that's the only way you save the sport. This whole thing about sacrificing holding on to a zero for all this time, fighting a bunch of fighters that nobody wants to see, it makes fighting boring. I watched Teddy Atlas the other day, and he kind of took a shot at Top Rank, and he said, "Yeah, thanks for these sparring matches that you guys put on ESPN." And if you really think about it, it's true. No, in the NFL, nobody wants to watch preseason games. Nobody wants to see somebody like Shakur Stevens beat up a tomato can like that all the time.
Right.
We want to see fight, and it's almost as if we're not getting that anymore. We're not getting those. But ESPN Classic is going to live between 1965 to about 99. That's what it seems like we're going to run into right now. And I feel like that's going to make the sport more.
I agree, but now who do you blame? Do you blame the promoters or do you blame the fans? Because a promoter can say anything, but if the fans got something in demand, that's what has to happen. At the end of the day, listen, as an athlete, I could tell you this. As a professional athlete, I could tell you this. The fans are in control. It don't matter what you say about the fans are in control. The promoters not in control because the promoters have to give the fans what they want. So now, if the fans is every time they look at a fighter, he got a loss. I don't want to see him. Now the ratings drop because he got a loss. Now people not filling up the seats because he got a loss. That's why you're right. It is credited to Floyd Mayweather that the O is so big right now. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's credited to Floyd Mayweather and that did kind of cripple the game. And that's why MMA, UFC took a big step up over boxing as far as ratings go because you could have however many losses you want. I seen guys with a 50-50 record, bro, go get a title shot in the UFC. A guy, look at the average UFC fighter. 20 wins, 10 losses, and they fighting for the world title. Yo, bro, or some of them might have 9 wins, 4 losses, and they fighting for the world title. But they credible fighters. Know what I'm saying? Boxing, people start underrating fighters when they get that L on their record. And then on top of that, like I said, once you get an L on your record, you are now forced to fight. Tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. And yo, it's good to be a warrior because that's what's embedded in us. But taking all them hits to the head by great fighters and the level is going up, up, up. That's dangerous, bro. Now I'm saying, look at the greatest fighters ever. Look at Floyd. Look at Ali. They was built up. Not saying they fought just tomato cans. Hell no. But you have to be built. You have to have your career built in a certain way, bro. You can't fight killer after killer after killer because it's gonna catch up to you at some time, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. Thing about me, Nobes, I understand both sides of the spectrum, bro. You know what I'm saying? The fighter side and the fan side.
Okay.
So I respect what you're saying.
Let's move forward from this conversation. Let's speak on a fight that I seen Bud Crawford. Everybody wants to see Bud versus Errol Spence, right? It seems like Errol Spence is making his comeback against Danny Garcia. That's what the rumor is right now. And Bud Crawford went out and made a comment and said, that's not a tune-up fight. I think he basically said that might be a mistake for Errol to take Danny. How do you feel about that fight?
Yo, I say it all the time, bro. 140. I know you like the 126 to 135, but in history, if you look at history, 170 welterweight, that division always been the most dangerous division in boxing. To this day, look at the in that division. Crawford, Spence. You gotta throw. Really, it's more than a Fab Four because look,
Porter.
You got Crawford, Spence. You got Porter. You got Thurman and Garcia. That's 5. Not to mention, you still got Adrian Broner, who
Overrated.
but you never know. You never know. He's capable of. I
He's
think what
definitely
he a
capable.
4 or 5-time world champion. Yeah, he's capable of pulling a crazy fight out of his hat. Know what I'm saying? Then you got Ugas. You got the upcoming kid Jerron, and like you got so many fighters at that division. Is dangerous. And yo, Danny Garcia at any given time could beat any one of those guys. So I get what Crawford's saying. Any given time he could beat any one of those guys.
Errol is coming off of the car accident in Texas, the Ferrari flipping over a million times, and now he's
Right.
apparently. And listen, I agree with you. I think Danny is not the fight to take. Danny is trying to get to a Manny Pacquiao. He wants that big check. This is going to be a big check for him.
Oh, I didn't even mention Manny Pacquiao. My fault. I didn't mention Manny Pacquiao.
Exactly, and I'm looking at it like Errol. I give Errol credit because my biggest knock on Errol Spence has been the same as Crawford. What is your marquee fight? What are people going to hang their hat on when they talk about you as a fighter? You haven't fought Bud yet. You know what I mean? Your resume, because I think De La Hoya said that about Bud Crawford. He said he's not a Hall of Famer yet because he hasn't had those marquee fights. The same goes for Errol Spence. You know, he beat Mikey Garcia, who went up 2 weight classes. Now you're fighting Danny Garcia, who's a natural welterweight, who could put you out. You know what I'm saying? He could put you out. Danny is a little slower foot, but I believe he's one of the best counterpunchers. He probably got one of the best counter left hooks in boxing. Um, I'm excited to see that fight. I want to see if because I feel like when Errol fought Sean Porter, I felt as if he got exposed a little. I mean, he got hit a lot. Although Sean Porter's a very aggressive, he tries to get inside of you type of fighter all the time. It's a different fighter than Danny. He's more aggressive, a lot faster. But I think Danny's the stronger fighter. I think he's the bigger puncher. Who do you have winning the fight? We both agree that it's a dangerous fight for Errol.
All right, let me say this, right? The marquee fight that that Spence have right now is Porter. Porter is a credible world champion, bro. So we can't overlook that and make it seem like he never fought somebody that's gonna be a future Hall of Famer.
I wouldn't put him with the upper echelon. I wouldn't put him.
Porter?
No, he's not upper. Do I think he's the? No, I wouldn't put him in the pound for pound list. He's not in mine. He's in your pound for pound list? Top 10? No. He's not in mine.
How do you not put him up there, bro?
Not Sean Porter in your top 10. I think he's a good fighter. He's just not in my top 10.
A lot of guys not in my top 10 right now.
Yes.
A lot of guys not in my top 10 right now.
Listen, I think Sean is.
And Porter might be. Yo, bro, he makes fights ugly. He don't make. Yo, bro, Porter comes to fight, bro, and he wins, bro. He knows how to win. All his losses was by the skin of their teeth, bro.
Yeah, he's very awkward.
All his losses was right. Thurman, Porter. I mean, not Porter. Spence. By the skin of their teeth, they beat him. Could have went either way. Know what I'm saying? So we can't downplay that. But as far as Spence and Garcia, I gotta say, no. Listen, you gotta give a round of applause to Spence, bro. Because yo, after coming off of that accident, this is a dangerous fight, bro.
Super dangerous. That's why I think it might be a mistake.
Bro, this is a dangerous ass fight, bro. Listen, I give him all the credit in the world, bro. Cause yo, not a lot of fighters would have did this.
No, absolutely not.
Not a lot of fighters would have did this, bro. And Garcia is hungry. He want his spot back at the top. He feel like he belong up there, and he's another one. All the fights he lost was by the skin of their teeth too. Yo, them top names. That's why I don't know why you said you want to put Porter up there because him and Garcia.
Great fighter. That's what I feel. That's just how I feel. I think he's a very good fighter, but I wouldn't. If I had to put the A,
judging by what though?
Put him in the A class, no. But I think he's a good fighter.
Judging by what?
Just him. I think he's a good fighter.
Skill set?
Huh?
What do you look at? You look at skill set or you look at resume?
I look at the skill set. I just feel like I think Bud.
He's not skill set. He's not. He's
Yeah,
not.
that's what I'm saying. I think he's a tough fighter. Don't get it twisted. Sean could beat you. You know what I mean? Now let me ask you a question. Danny, again, he's another one of his biggest fights hasn't really come through yet, right? What do you think, Danny? Because I think Errol Spence is the better boxer. I think he's the better boxer, and I feel like Danny's had problems. I think Danny's had problems with guys that were quicker.
I don't think so. No.
You think Danny's a better boxer than
I got this with you, know, bro. I think he's more of a he's stronger and he's more of a bruiser than Danny Garcia.
Really?
I can't say he's a better boxer, bro.
Okay.
You ever looked at the fight with Matisse?
I gotta look it up.
Danny Garcia? He boxed, bro. I'm gonna keep it real. I thought Matisse was gonna knock him out. Because Matisse was on a killing streak. He knocked Peterson out in 2 rounds?
Yeah.
He knocked this other kid out, this other black kid, I forgot his name. He knocked him out in 1 round. Matisse was on a mean streak when he fought Garcia. And they fought on Floyd Mayweather undercard. So I'm like, yo, Matisse not gonna play. But when I seen the display of boxing that Garcia put on, I said, yo, this kid box. And I knew that because I was in the amateurs around the same time as him. So I knew he had the ability to box, but the way he pulled that off was mean. And he's capable of pulling that performance off against his Spence.
On that note, I'm gonna say this. I think it's Danny's biggest fight. I think it's Errol's biggest fight. I hope it gets signed. There's a lot of very good fights coming up. How about my dogs in there? I'm definitely looking forward to it.
What other big fights coming up?
A lot. I got a whole list, right? We got Tyson Fury. Joshua signed a 2-fight deal. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get off now. I'm gonna edit these and we're gonna get it back on tonight. You know what I'm saying?
I bet.
All right, I'm gonna hit you on Instagram right now.
All right, cool.